Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating article about the surprisingly inconsistent landscape of cross-platform OS APIs for timers. It's a real head-scratcher, isn't it?
Absolutely. You'd think something as fundamental as timers would have a standardized approach across operating systems. What's the core problem the author highlights?
Precisely. The author points out the lack of a single, sane, and universally supported API for creating and managing timers across different Unix-like systems. Each OS seems to have its own quirky way of doing it, making cross-platform development a real challenge.
So instead of one elegant solution, we get a messy patchwork? What are some of the examples the author gives?
Exactly. The article meticulously explores various approaches. On Windows, it's relatively straightforward with settimer and its associated callback or message handling. But then, the Unix world explodes into a multitude of options. POSIX offers timer create and timer set time. But the author strongly criticizes this approach because it relies on signals, which are notoriously difficult to manage reliably in complex applications. Signals don't compose well with other OS primitives. They're affected by the signal mask, and writing robust signal handlers is a nightmare.
Oh, I see. So signals are the main culprit for the complexity? That makes sense. What are some of the alternatives then?
Yeah, the signal-based approach is a major pain point. The author then explores Linux's timer FD create and timer FD set time, which treat timers as file descriptors. This is much cleaner because it integrates seamlessly with other I/O mechanisms using poll or epoll. It's elegant and composable, but unfortunately, it's not universally available across all Unix systems.
Right, so it's a Linux-centric solution. What about BSD systems? Do they have a better approach?
BSD systems offer KQ, which is a powerful event multiplexing mechanism that can also handle timers. The author praises its design and documentation. However, even here, there's a catch. macOS, despite having NAQ, doesn't support timer functionality within it. It's a bit frustrating, you know?
That's incredibly frustrating. So what about Illumos and macOS? Do they have their own unique solutions?
Illumos uses port create, which cleverly leverages the POSIX signal-based timer API, but redirects the signals into events, making them more manageable. macOS, on the other hand, uses dispatch source _create, a part of Grand Central Dispatch, which is a more task-oriented approach. It's a different philosophy altogether.
It sounds like a real mess. Is there any common ground at all? Does the author suggest any universal solutions?
Yes, there is. The author also explores ouring on Linux, a very advanced mechanism that makes almost everything non-blocking. You can essentially implement timers using ouring's ability to on-queue and manage asynchronous operations. However, it's also Linux-specific and not always enabled. But the most interesting part is the conclusion. The author suggests that the simplest and most portable solution might be to implement timers entirely in user space, using a data structure like a minheap to manage them. This way, you abstract away the oxygen monosulfide-specific timer APIs and create a consistent interface across all platforms. Libraries like libov already do this.
That's a clever workaround. So essentially, the best solution might be to avoid relying on oxygen monosulfide level timer APIs altogether and build your own abstraction layer? That's a pretty significant takeaway.
Exactly. The article concludes by highlighting the lack of a truly cross-platform solution at the OS level and advocates for a user space implementation for better portability and maintainability. It's a compelling argument, and it really underscores the challenges of cross-platform development in C. Thanks for joining us on Tech Bytes and News. We hope you found this discussion insightful. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.